I'm actually going live right now to talk about narcissism and codependency. Actually, more importantly, to talk about how we can actually help ourselves get out of narcissistic like situations or even recover from relationships which we've experienced either where we have maybe narcissistic partners, or we're trying to recover from where even we have exhibited narcissism. So I think I've shared in my story with you guys before that I for sure was a narcissist in my past, in my previous relationships. I was not aware that I was one, but I left so much damage in my wake in all my relationships and the trauma that I had caused. So I'm going to have a special guest come on here right now, actually in a few minutes, to talk about this with us and to even share her experience of how she worked through a narcissistic relationship. I'm also, believe it or not, I don't know if I can switch my camera right now. I think I can, because I'm going to take you through, I'm going to teach you how the narcissism model can exist. So this is kind of like a healing, this is an educational thing that you can see. So I was giving a presentation on this like just a few minutes ago, but as you can see, I'm going to be talking about like how you actually have this concept called the narcissistic supply, where in essence, it is how a narcissist kind of needs somebody else so they can have that seesaw model. And what, whether you call it a victim in a relationship, whether you call it like a codependent situation, but that is ideally what provides for the codependent relationship. And then you have these traits of like narcissism that, people tend to exhibit. So someone who is narcissistic, ideally, is someone who is, believe it or not, how do I switch my camera back? Believe it or not, someone who's suffering from a very low sense of internal self-worth. So much so that they have to overcompensate with it highly on the external. So I'm going to repeat it again. It is someone who's suffering from a low sense of like value or self-worth inside, so much so that they have to hyperinflate their sense of value on the outside, externally. Now, they do this in relationships by manipulating the world around them to believe that they're more valuable and more, what is the word? Sorry, my brain's a little fried, but that they're more valuable and that they're more popular and their esteem is super high. In fact, what's so funny in my work with all my clients is they come up to me and be like, they were so confident and they're this and that, and like, they don't understand, like, how they're manipulating people. And I'm like, the truth is actually deep down inside, they are so not confident that they have to try and prove to you that they're so like confident and charming and charismatic and expect you to fall for that. So that is what can give them a sense of, like someone said this perfectly, a false sense of superiority, because deep down inside their inner child feels very inferior. So this is how we connect, when we do the healing for people. Like I said, I exhibited narcissism a lot in my past, in my previous relationships. The inner child felt so inferior that my ego had to feel extremely superior. So this is how you connect the two things. So what can someone who wants to feel a false sense of superiority do? They can tend to find someone who's also battling that sense of inferiority, because they know they can manipulate these people, they know they can dominate these people, and they know they can ultimately use these people to keep building their own sense of self-esteem. Now, before I bring on this person I'm going to do an interview with around this conversation, so I want you guys to hang tight here. It's going to be a really good conversation with someone who was in a relationship for I think almost 2 years with a narcissist. I want you to understand that it takes two people. I always say this in any situation in life, it takes two hands to clap, right? So it takes two people to get into a relationship. Now, ultimately, narcissistic relationships can become codependent, etc. But apart from the one person who is exhibiting these strong traits of narcissism or narcissistic, the other individual tends to be someone who is seeking this kind of enmeshment where they can constantly give, and they feel a sense of validation from their giving, whether it's their giving of a sense of like time, of effort. It more than anything becomes a sense of emotional giving, where they unconsciously keep abandoning themselves to be in this relationship with someone else. So someone talks about lies, someone talks about like, that come in, or manipulation in narcissistic relationships. But the people who are on this end, who keep giving, who provide the supply, quote unquote, are the people who are willing to unconsciously, I say the word unconsciously, believe these lies. These are the people who get into this relationship willing to believe the love bombing, the gaslighting, the breadcrumbing, etc., because it makes them feel like there is some sense of value or some sense of connection that they receive. So it's not bad, and it's not something to be shamed and criticized. It's just something to become aware of so that we can learn how to heal it. That's why when you recognize, and this is a moment of empowerment I want to give you guys, you can fucking hate a narcissist as much as you want, but that does not prevent another one coming back into your life. Okay? I'm going to repeat this again. You can hate a narcissist or narcissism as much as you want, but that does not prevent another one from coming back into your life. So what prevents another one from coming back into your life? Changing what you were going through and who you were that attracted that narcissistic relationship in the first place. Okay? I'm going to repeat this again. You can hate a narcissist or hate a narcissistic relationship as much as you want, but that does not prevent it from coming back into your life again. What prevents it from coming back into your life is changing what attracted it in the first place. That is what empowerment is about. We cannot control the outside world. We can't control that person's actions. We can't control what they're attempting to do with us, how they're trying to gaslight us or whatever. But we can change if we fall for it. We can change if we're vulnerable to it. We can change if we don't have boundaries to their manipulation. Those are things we can work on and learn to heal and learn to change. So that is what we teach in this space, the Inner Yats, is that we don't just teach like, oh my God, narcissists, run away from them, they're like fucking Satan or whatever. We teach you to say, you have the power to control and heal your own wounds that draw them in, so that soon you won't even draw them in. They don't look at you as something they can manipulate. They don't look at you as something they can dominate and get a false sense of superiority out of. They look at you as being someone who has a strong sense of self and confidence and like, you know what, I can't fucking mess around here, so I'm gonna like get away. So in essence, someone said, aren't they actually aware that they are weak and broken? If they were, so they aren't actually aware. No, exactly. They aren't aware of it. I can tell you from my own personal life that I thought I was the fucking shit because I was in relationships and like had friendships with all my friends, believed like, you know, I was very charming, charismatic, funny, blah, blah, blah. And so I would basically develop my sense of self by listening to what they said about me or how they treated me or how they validated me. I didn't even know what my sense of self really was because that is what I built myself up on, because that I used the external to create the sense of self. But as like people started either leaving me or I had this, for me, it went through a really bad breakup where the girl I was with finally built the sense of self and strength to say, fuck you, I can't handle your shit anymore. And she broke up with me, which then knocked me on my ass and forced me to deal with myself. And then I was like, holy shit, is this me? And I was like, wow. I do not see myself like with love. I do not really care or love for myself. That's why I want so desperately for people to see me as being superior. That's why I'm willing to make you feel bad about shit you bring to the table so that ultimately you can keep thinking that I am right. That's what typically a narcissist would do. So by going through our healing, both parties, especially the party on the other side, is where we do our healing enough, is we realize that we don't need to fall for these things of like breadcrumbing. We don't need to fall for that. Did I go back to that girl? No, I did not. Because I realized for myself that I needed to do my healing and I needed to work through my own wounds. And I have a very strong policy. I don't want to impose this or project it upon anyone, but I try and never move backwards because I feel like I've always evolved from each relationship, and that my soul and that my being is trying to teach me a lesson to move on and have a better and more powerful experience and opportunity as I move forward. Hey, and welcome to the Inner Yats YouTube page. If you like our content, make sure you click the like and the subscribe button so that you get more of these amazing videos that keep coming your way.